have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla.
Wake up, everyone!
There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe here. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
We're back once again. YHS on Monster Island. We're back, and we're going to tackle the second half of, the Frankenstein Conquers the World kind of loose.
Yeah, is it a sequel?
Is it War of the Gargantuas, which I don't think the word Gargantua is ever uttered in this movie. We'll get to it. Jay, how are you doing?
Well, I had a long introduction, but it's the first joke of that wonderful scene that you'll see tonight. We'll have many more. But yes, depending on which version you watch, because if you watch the Glenn sound dub, then it does have it. So there's just a lot of stuff to talk about and unpack with this crazy film that, like I said, or like you said, I should say, is it a sequel? I don't know. We'll have to talk about it later.
It's weird. It's confusing. I watched the version that's on HBO.
Me too. Yes.
In which
there's three versions, and that is
on there's three total.
Three total. Yes.
There's
one. Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us, what are the three?
So the one in HBO is the international dub. So originally they had the original Japanese version, and then they had the international dub. So the Japanese version refers to them as Sonda and Gaira and stuff like that. The international dub, which was lost and never really duplicated until they rediscovered it or they found it, I think like 2014, 17, somewhere around there. That's the one like Janus Films and HBO Max has on right now. And so that does refer to him as, Frankenstein's, right? But then Saperstein, and all of his infinite wisdom, he took it back for the U.S. release and then did a Glenn sound studio dub, which adds extra footage that gives you more Russ Tamblyn footage to build up the American characters more. Yeah. And then it takes out the word Frankenstein throughout the entire movie and replaces it with brown and green Gargantua. And then, and once again, I know we're jumping the gun here, but we're talking about it. But the crazy thing, as it removes all the elements from Frankenstein Conquers the World, it also adds a line that really, I think, establishes the best link between the two, where the doctors actually refer to a severed hand when talking about the creation of these gargantuas, which of course ties everything back to Frankenstein. So it's weird that was the version that did like the most to distance itself from it, but also tied in the most. So
it's kind of the only tie. It's kind of the only tie, except for, you know what? I'll get to that later.
Yeah, we totally just.
We will get
how excited
there.
We are.
That's a tease. Jay, how are you, man?
I'm good. I really am. This was a fun. For at least for us, like a two-parter for us to talk about the two. And I don't think I've ever watched these two films this close together. It's always been very, distant. So that was kind of cool. And I'm doing good, man. Everything's rocking and rolling. How are you?
Dude, same. I'm just getting ready. YHS is kind of gearing up to go to Star Wars Celebration in less than 2 weeks. Crazy. So that's where my brain's at right now. My brain is in California.
Nice. And that's
but
okay.
I'm good. There's fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
I know I'm good, Jay.
You guys have a busy summer. You have, Celebration. You have other big conventions that you guys do and so much stuff, but that's really cool. And maybe we have to have a Star Wars as tokusatsu as, special effects, the monsters of Star Wars, the Kaiju of Star Wars.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a good idea, but that's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content.
We'll go back and watch. I'll rewatch 9 Star Wars movies. I don't care.
Of course. And Clone Wars and Rebels and all that stuff. It'll be great.
There's so much stuff.
So much content.
Abby's got that Creatures of Star Wars book. I'll borrow it from her.
We'll just act like we rewatched everything. Like, oh
Just
yeah,
read the book, yeah.
Maybe
which is all like non-canon stuff anyway. So it's like whatever.
Yeah, the legend stuff, the expanded universe. Yeah, maybe we'll just take like the 5 top kaiju of Star Wars. We'll talk about the Rancor and stuff like that. Like,
that's a good idea.
Our favorite kaiju of Star Wars.
That's a future episode. Let's do that. I love it.
Well, done.
You heard it here.
See, we do our program planning and everything during the show. It's great.
Jay, now, I know we're going to get into like news. We're going to get into, pickups, which heads up, I don't have any pickups. I don't know. Do you have pickups this week or?
I do, Mr. Walsh.
Okay.
I do. And
you say that like you got some good stuff.
Well, it might be. It's definitely not from a quantity standpoint my biggest week ever, but from the power that some of these pack, the investment that some of these require is a pretty darn big week. So right. But like I said, not a ton of them though. But
okay, but listen, I was gonna ask the what did you watch question first, but we're getting into these toys because I want to see what you got.
Okay, so
Jay, I didn't get anything, but I did get an email from Mezco that the Destroy All Monsters #1 set is on its way. So that's coming. So
I did as well. I'm super excited. I'm still bummed I didn't get the menu with the messed up eyes. I wanted cross-eyed menu.
Just paint it. Paint it yourself.
Right? I know. But I'll mess it up and I'll have to give like an eye patch or something. It'll be Long John menu. But it was a great week. A couple of things came in, and the first 3, and there's 5 things. The first 3 are all in the same family.
Oh, I wonder what they are.
I know, right? More Bio-Gojis. And I got a couple ones, and one that I'm just absolutely like in love with. It's so cool. But so they released. I mentioned it on the show. I think maybe 2 shows ago that when they released like kind of 5 or 6 different kind of slightly different sparkle. Glitter variations, and I wasn't able to snag them. I did get 2 of the 5, and I actually ended up getting the other 3, but they won't be in for a while. But I did get the first 2, and they're really stunning. They're doing really good stuff with glitter. Marasan just keeps on knocking it out, and I love this guy. It is a translucent vinyl with gold glitter. So this is a clear vinyl, but it has this beautiful gold on it, and he's absolutely stunning. Looks great on the shelf. And I hope they do more of this. It's not as gaudy as some of the other gold Sofubi you see, which nothing wrong with that. I have a couple of those. I love it. Yeah. But this is a little bit more.
It's like a toned down gold. It's gold and it's glitter and there's red eyes, but it's like almost a pastel gold.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, it goes really beautifully with same concept, but that kind of cool, kind of seafoamy green here. Same thing. We were talking about the from the Hedera, the 3-colored Hedera that we were from the last time. I forgot what release it were from Marasan. I think it might have been for Superfest maybe. Anyway, the seafoam green was the one I was really eyeing, and I was actually glad that this guy came in a very similar color. But once again, translucent vinyl with this really, really cool just kind of color on it. I dig it, man. I love it.
Each one, Jay, is more beautiful than the last. Listen, if you're listening to the show and not watching it on YouTube, you're gonna want to let your eyes rest on these beautiful creatures. The exquisitely small spine gap on these things. They're just
triangle spine gap.
They are perfect. These figures are 99% perfect. I love these.
They are. I really believe the 89 is the best sculpt for Marasan, modern Marasan. I really do.
89 is the best everything everywhere.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the. I know that's one of the things we bonded on early on, like just the acknowledgement that that's the pinnacle of Godzilla suits, and so and it's captured beautifully here in Sofubi form. But the other one, so I'm up to now 10 specific glitter Marasan 350.
10 just in the glitter.
Just in the glitter, and I have 3 more glitters coming.
I'm so mad.
But this one is great. So remember a few weeks back, I showed off the one that that Calico Chris and Melody Murder guy. I was able to pick up from them. It was like pink with blue, glow in the dark.
Yes.
It was one of their
Cotton candy
secret releases. Yeah.
Yep.
So they came out with I believe it's called the Yozakura. I could be getting that wrong. It's the Night Cherry Blossom variant. Very similar. It's the pink. It's glow in the dark, but it's more of instead of that light blue, it's a more of a prominent green. And it is. I just absolutely love this thing. Check this bad boy out. Look at this.
Dang, dude, that green.
Yeah,
dude, this looks like it smells so good.
I know, right? It smells like vinyl. It reminds me of the Sakura Mochi Marasans they released, the ones that were supposed to resemble that nice little treat. But it's it's great.
I was gonna say it's like it looks like candy or ice cream, or it looks like a flower. It looks like a nice piece of bubble gum wrapped in a flower.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
These toys are. I'm so mad.
It's bubblegum.
I'm mad. It's like I'm
flower.
mad I don't have it, but I'm so happy to see it and to learn about all these toys. This is my favorite part of the show, Jay. Is where we just both talk about all the things we buy, which sounds like it could be annoying to people. You're like, oh, these guys are just talking about all the stuff they waste their money on. It's like, because look at it. It's beautiful.
No way,
I sat in front of my one of my shelves this morning, and I was just admiring all the Jet Jaguars and all the different the angles, and I'm just like, look how beautiful this design of this kaiju. It's just so
perfection.
Stupid and it is. It's perfection. I love toys, Jay. I love toys.
It gives me faith in the human experiment, right? It really does. It's like,
that is the deepest thing anybody has ever said about Godzilla, and I love it.
I mean, who are we?
Whoa.
We're just these carbon-based life forms, and we have a short time on Earth, but it shows that, hey, some of us have evolved to the point that we can create this beauty that, inspires us and empowers us and motivates us and entertains us during this short time on Earth. So kudos.
Jesus Christ. The fact that in this infinite world, in this small dirt ball that we travel on millions of miles from the sun to the earth and the galaxies, the fact that we're all just made of space dust and we're an accident, we evolved, and the fact that turned into some person's brain coming up with the idea of Cookiezilla. Is the best. That says everything that it needs to say about mankind.
I think that's the next the great philosophical lecture is entitled "From Single-Celled Organisms to Cookiezilla."
Welcome to our TED Talk.
Screw Cornell West and all these other amazing philosophers. We're gonna do this one. How soft vinyl defines the human experience.
No, don't put 8 heads on that dragon.
Why not? Yeah, and have them fight a giant robot on the moon. Why not?
The missile goes up his asshole.
Yes, and the line that we need in this episode is aim for the butthole, because that's the greatest. Tokusatsu and kaiju, they just, like I said, it's the genre is always giving to us, and we are better off for it. But speaking better off,
Jay, what else you got?
So remember when we did our Wonderfest review way back when, and Sara Jirushi, which has just become it's one of the hottest new sofa manufacturers out there. They just do wonderful, wonderful stuff, and pretty pricey stuff. And it was the 95, the Desugoji, the burning one. It was the kind of the taller one, the more upright one. Yeah. And like you, I think we mentioned it on the show. If not, from a distance, I didn't appreciate it as much. I was like, I love the Marmot Desugoji sculpt a little bit more. I think it just feels more Sofubi style. But up close, I totally appreciated the kind of almost like the molten lava type paint on the skin. Up close, it was beautiful. But I didn't own it. They released a variant of it right after Wonderfest. And I'll tell you, man, it was the missing piece for me. And I don't know if it was actually the sculpt that was holding me back. There was just something that didn't make me jump on it, even though it was, like I said, beautiful. And this variant just spoke to me, and I absolutely love it. I picked it up. And Sara Jirushi, Desugoji, it's a big Bama Jamma. It's this amazing one with this transparent orange clear head.
Yeah.
And then the kind of the nuclear reactor or nuclear meltdown areas are transparent, or excuse me, a translucent vinyl, as well as are the spines. But it absolutely is gorgeous. And like I said, this camera on my computer will not do it justice, especially the face. But it is a beautiful piece. I mean, you can see through the areas that are showing kind of where the radioactivity is coming out of. And like I said, the face it's haunting and creepy, but like very sofa-y because it is that translucent vinyl.
That's
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, for me, it's the fact that the face is like a yellow translucent, so it's very, very light in color, which allows those red eyes to really like pop. And I think that's what it's like. It's like you're scared to look away from it.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like you're hypnotized by it.
It is, and you still get the great molten lava scales and skin. I think the other one, which you said, it's just as beautiful, but I think what I thought there was just almost like I needed another pop of color in the head because the neck is so elongated compared to like the marmot and the other Desugoji sculpts. And like I said, it's a very beautiful rendered and sculpted face. But like I think that the pop of color in the face really brings us together because it was like you had the color on the torso and the legs and of course the spines, and then it was just all the molten lava look here. And this one I think it segments and separates it a little bit more. And I just absolutely adore this piece. I'm definitely a signature piece, and I really, really do love it. And I feel that not maybe to Marmot Desugoji level, but I feel the Sarajurushi Desugojis are only going to go up. I think it's going to be a lot harder in a year or two to get them for a decent price. And they're wonderful stuff. So I was really excited to pick that one up.
Yeah, good pickups all around, man.
And then the last one, and I showed you this off air, is that that, I'm not just army building Marasan 350 Byogojis anymore. I'm also apparently army building M1 Haranakajimas. I have 3. That's not an army building. But I was able to pick up the 2000 release, the initial brown release of the brown suit that, as most people know at the event when they released them, it was autographed by Mr. Godzilla himself. So this is one of the autographed versions of Mr. Nakajima. And
that's special.
Yeah, this was one I'd been eyeing for a while, and I was just waiting for one to kind of pop up from that event. And I wanted the brown suit. I have the Urasawa version, that deep blue. That's still my personal favorite.
Same. That's the one that I own is the Urasawa.
Yeah, and I picked up the green one, the bright green one, just because I got it for a really good deal, and I love how bright it is. And also this guy, though, I did like the brown one, and I was excited to get one with the autograph and everything. And so very, very excited there. Love this guy. This was a big, like I said, a big week of pickups from a quality standpoint, an impact standpoint, but very happy with these pickups. And I'm hopefully when we're back the next time, I hopefully have a couple more good ones.
Yeah, dude, that's all good stuff, man. Yeah. Super exciting. Well, let's see. We're gonna get to the news. We're gonna get to the other stuff.
Did you watch anything?
I did. Nice. I watched a couple things here. I watched 2 things, and there's technically no kaiju in either one of them, but we're gonna talk about because one
was the wind, and
there's things in them.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I watched was my very first ever dipping the toes into a Kamen Rider, and I watched Kamen Rider Zoe.
Okay,
which is the movie with the crazy, scary Spider Woman.
Well, that was the one that you were trying to find.
It was the one I was trying to find. I found out that it's just on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube.
Nice.
I'd seen that it was on there before, but I thought maybe it wasn't the whole thing because it's only like 50 minutes long. Yeah. But then I did some research and I found out, nope, it's only 50 minutes long, which is kind of confusing because I know enough to know what's happening. But have you ever seen Kamen Rider Zoe?
No, I've only seen the original Kamen Rider.
Because it just starts off with a dude and he's like stuck in a tree. He's like, it looks like the tree's growing around him. And I was like, okay. I was like, did something get cut out of this? And then something's talking to, and he is Kamen Rider. But it's all contained in like 50 minutes. And the thing that I love about it is that, the Kamen Rider outfit, it's very, it's brightly colored, it's sort of silly looking, it looks like Power Rangers, but in this particular movie the monsters that he fights are all like terrifying. Like they look like Shin Godzilla versions of things.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's still like just regular old Kamen Rider, and like, dude, the Spider Woman is terrifying.
That's
and
amazing.
It's mainly stop motion. Like they're fighting, and it's Spider Woman and Kamen Rider, and they're just stop motion maquettes fighting with each other. And I'm just this is awesome.
Yeah,
there's weird creatures in it. It's cool. It's just a little self-contained episode. He's fighting these aliens. They're after this boy. It was cool. Yeah. It was the very first. I would watch more Kamen Rider. I know it's not all going to be like that.
Yeah,
but I needed to see it because it's so like it felt gritty. It felt like I don't know when it came out, but it felt like it came out in 1984. You know, and it looked like RoboCop kind of. You know, it's like nasty looking, like dirty looking. It was cool, man.
Yeah. I like I said, I've always been saying this. I've said I know on the show multiple times. I think you'll really dig the original Kamen Rider from the 70s. I think you'll like it, and I just feel that it's grounded, its genesis, its spirit is in horror versus Ultraman and Sentai and stuff, which might be more grounded in sci-fi. And I just feel that you would dig it. I like I said, I really do think that that's a rabbit hole that you would go down. And like I said, it's just. I don't know. There's a charm to it that even beyond some of the early the Showa era Ultraman and stuff. It's really cool. I dig it.
Yeah, it was cool, man. So I watched one other thing, and this. Okay, have you ever seen Kung Fu Hustle?
No, I have not.
Have you heard of it?
Yes. I was trying to actually think. I know of it. I was like, did I ever see it?
So,
no.
Kung Fu Hustle. I saw that in the theater when it came out, and I remember a friend of mine was like, "Hey, we got to go see this," and I was like, "Well, this sounds stupid." I was like, "This just sounds so dumb." And I went and saw it, and it's Kung Fu Hustle is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It's got like a lot of really cool fighting in it, but the writer and director Stephen Chow, I found out, made a movie I think in 2013 called Journey to the West, and it is a movie about a bunch of demon hunters trying to capture demons. And and I was like, whoa. I was like, Stephen Chow made a monster movie, basically. I got to watch this. So I sat and I watched it over the weekend, and it's awesome. It's silly. It's not as good as Kung Fu. It's not Kung Fu Hustle. It's not as funny, but there's a lot of really cool fighting in it. The set pieces are really cool. It opens with like this fishing village, and there's this giant demon fish with the face of a tiger, and it's eating all the villagers. And it's like your main character is like he's a demon hunter, but he's really bad at it. And like his method is like singing children's like preschool hymns to the monsters to get them to surrender. And like all the other demon hunters are like, what the fuck are you doing? And throughout the film, he gets better. But they fight that demon. There's a pig demon, and then the last demon is the Monkey King, and it's just like a really cool thing where the Monkey King has been trapped in this cave, and he tries to trick people into kind of letting him out, and your main character lets him out because he's an idiot, and then he becomes the Monkey King, and they're having to fight him, and then there's a giant Buddha. It's just like it's fucking weird. And it's great. And I found out that there is a sequel, which it's not. I don't think the sequel is written or directed by Stephen Chow, so it's probably pretty different. But dude, it was worth a watch. If you ever, I rented it because I just really wanted to see it, so I paid for it and rented it. And there's just some cool stuff in it, man. It's funny. The creatures are cool. Yeah,
I feel like that was that on Netflix at some point.
It was, because I started when I looked into it, when I Googled it there was a couple like Netflix ads or whatever, but I think I rented it on Amazon.
Yeah, I felt like it was I always got that as a recommended, like so much percentage match with what other shows had on there. Yeah, because it sounds familiar. But yeah, I'm about to check that out. That sounds great. And then I kind of dovetailing off of like your Kamen Rider stuff, like I've been going back and I've mentioned just kind of rewatching a lot of older Showa era Ultraman, and I'm in Ultra 7 right now. And it makes me want to, after I get maybe a couple more series down, to start and go beyond just the first series of Kamen Rider, because that's all I know, and because I really did like it. So I don't know if that's maybe that's a rabbit hole we go down together.
Now listen, I got a message tonight on Instagram from Ryan Dole. He sent me a
Ryan Dole from Toy Anxiety, Academy Award-winning Ryan Dole.
Academy Award-winning Ryan Dole.
Yeah.
He sent me like somebody's reel from Instagram, and it was a clip from an old, Japanese. I was like, he showed it to me. I watched it. I was like, oh, this is Ultraman or something.
One of the Ultra Brothers, yeah.
And it's this. Now, let me know if you're familiar with this particular creature, but it's like a starfish, and it's like stuck to the side of a car, and the woman's like, "What is this?" And then it kind of grows, but it has like the face of Hitler, and she's like, who are you? And he says, "I'm Starfish Hitler." And I looked him up. I was like, "What?" And it's Kamen Rider. It's from a Kamen Rider episode, and it's literally Hitler with a swastika on his chest, but he's a starfish.
Oh man, that is amazing and
the
terrible
fuck,
in the same
dude?
way.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those. It's like when you said starfish, I was like, oh, Pestar. I'm thinking like, yeah, giant
right.
Bad head.
That's what you're thinking, but no, dude.
That took a very weird turn. No, I haven't seen that night because I don't know Kamen Rider. Like I said, after the initial one, what do you remember? Which Kamen Rider it was from?
Dude, no, but I probably still got it on my. Let's see, I'll just look it up real quick because I had it pulled up.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Let's see, Starfish Hitler. Pops right up into the Kamen Rider wiki. Let's see if it says which one.
From Kamen Rider X.
Kamen Rider X. That is it. You got a picture? Are you seeing him? You got a picture?
Yes. Yeah. It's exactly as you described it.
Starfish Hitler. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So that exists.
Wasn't in our film.
Did you watch anything?
Just the Ultra 7 episodes.
Just those?
Like I said, just been kind of going through those. I dig that series. I really do. And I love the original Ultraman or Ultraman 66. But Ultra 7 is so good too. Like I've been a really good set of episodes. I just got through the 2-part King Joe 2-parter, which I absolutely love. One of the most iconic giant robots / kaiju. And it's such a fun, great episode. But I'm going to probably hopefully finish that here shortly, and then go on to maybe a couple more Ultraman, unless I decide to take my own left turn and go and start Kamen Rider again. I don't know.
Might
I just
have
feel
to now.
Yeah. I have to get to Kamen Rider X. So yeah, that's crazy stuff, man. No, that's all. That's it. No movies. No other monster movies.
I will say, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on the show here, but I believe both of us over the weekend or over the last few weeks, I bought the Japanese yokai collection from Arrow Films. I'd been wanting that for a while, but it was like on a super deep discount. So I picked that up, and that's got 4 films in it. All 4 look great, and there's a 5th movie that's out. I don't know how easily it is to get a hold of it. I'm not sure if it's wide release. I know it's shown in some theaters, but Takashi Miike directed the newest one and one of the ones in the box set, and he's insane. So I'm looking forward to starting that set.
Yeah, me too. The original, what I've heard from a lot of folks that are really big into yokai, and I'm not. I don't know a ton about yokai, so I do think I'm going to.
I don't either.
Yeah, I'm going to tap into everything I know about yokai. I learned in Death Kappa. I'm going to dig into it. I know the great, he's a writer and translator. He's done a lot of really cool stuff, written a lot of really cool books on Japanese culture. Matt Alt and his wife's name escapes me. She's a Japanese native. They live in Japan. They wrote a couple books on yokai.
I want those. I'm looking those up.
Yeah, I mean, and they're, like I said,
are they illustrated?
I don't know. But Matt Alt, he's a great interview. I know he did a yokai interview as part of the yokai special that Collect All Monsters did, that great YouTube show. And I think it'd be really cool to kind of get into it, but I kind of want to just go in, especially to the 60s trilogy, the Showa era trilogy, and just kind of almost go in knowing just what kind of yokai are, but not know anything specific about different ones.
Have you seen the
canvas?
Have you seen the trailers for them?
Yes. They look good.
Especially the first one legitimately looks spooky. Looks kind of scary. The only like I know a little bit about yokai just from tattooing because like kappa is like a lot of people get that as a tattoo and they don't even really know what it's just a thing. You know what I mean? It's like a thing in certain forms of tattooing. Like I had seen.
You do it with cucumbers or no?
Sometimes, sometimes no, for sure. If you get on Instagram and you typed in like kappa tattoo, you would see a ton of traditional style kappa, and half of the time they have cucumbers. And that, and you see a lot. People get the there's like an umbrella yokai where it's just an umbrella with like an eye and hands, and you see him a lot, and people get it because he's silly and he's funny looking. But I think they probably don't know that there's a whole thing behind it, but. So, it's kind of like watching these films will kind of be on another level for me. Because it's like I'm familiar with some of the visuals just through tattooing, which is crazy. But I want to when we're done recording, I want to look these books up and try to see if we can find them. But I'm excited. Awesome. I'm excited to go down that road, watch those movies. But that's it for what we watched. I guess we get to some news here.
Yeah, and the news is very visual. It's very show and tell because it's just a few things that that since the last time that we spoke that popped up of some really cool collectibles and stuff. Nothing groundbreaking in the sense that there's no, like I said, it's not like we have a new movie announcement or hey, season 2 of Singular Point's coming out or anything like that.
But that's a thing.
I know that's a thing, right? But it is some really cool stuff. But since the last time we spoke. There was a Superfest Extra Volume 2 came, I think it was on April 29th, maybe. Okay. Somebody can fact check me on that one. But, it happened after the last time we spoke.
Sure.
And so I wanted to share some of these. I'm going to do some screen shares because there was a couple that I think are really cool. And I'm curious to see what your thoughts on. But there was definitely I don't want to say a signature piece, but there was definitely one that seemingly got the most attention. And I'm pulling it up here. Hold on one second. I have to go a little bit different route than I normally do here on the screen share. I wouldn't say technical difficulties, but just a little bit of technical slowdown.
While you're doing that, I'm going to ask you a question that definitely could have been left for off air, but I'm just going to ask it. What shirt is this you got on? I can only see the very top of it.
Oh, no worries. It is not a directly related to anything we do, but it is a Jushin Thunder Liger, the great Puroresu professional wrestler. It is one of his Japanese shirts that I got around his retirement year. So, like I said, from my era when I watched professional wrestling back in the 80s and 90s, and especially early New Japan stuff, J-Cup, all that good stuff. I gotta love me some Jushin Thunder Liger. So that is where it is from.
It's a good looking shirt, dude. Speaking of shirts, while you're doing that, I will say this was kind of a reminder to myself that Gutter Garbs is selling a shirt with the New World Video logo on it, and they're selling it because it's a part of their Slugs collection that they have going on. Because New World Video did do a lot of horror stuff, but of course, as soon as I saw it pop up, I was like, "Oh, somebody's selling a Godzilla 1985 shirt." Right? So I'm gonna pick that up. I think it's only available until this weekend, so jump on it. What do we got here? What are we looking at?
I know, right? So. Here it is from 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters, the X Plus, the Kaiju series, the Large Monster series, 25 centimeter. This absolutely stunning.
Look at those wings.
I know, beautiful sculpt of the everybody's favorite king, right? Now, one of everybody's favorite king. I know, but the King Ghidorah is so great, and. I do like his design from 2019. We can talk about the movie, good, bad, and indifferent. But I do like the design. It is. I just love the work that they've done there. I mean, look at, like I said, the musculature and everything in the wings. Like the pose is just beautiful. I love the kind of the 3 different facial expressions there. Everybody's already talking. You even got Kevin from the meme, the tongue. I mean, that's what most people were focusing on. But I think it's absolutely stunning, and it's a beautiful piece. And I don't know how much it's going to be when it gets released, but this was kind of X Plus's big signature piece for their Superfest releases.
Dude, it's super, super detailed. It's like I'm looking at it right now, and it's like you're seeing that version of King Ghidorah like in a different. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, I never noticed, this about him before. I never noticed how muscular his kind of wing arms look, and the way if you look at kind of the bottom of his wings, those extra kind of pieces that jut from his like side out. I forget. I don't know what those are called, but the parts that are in the wing there. Yeah. It just, it's like, I'm like, oh, this is kind of a really good, clear shot of this creature. Yeah, this looks great, man. It's going to be expensive. I'm not going to buy it. And part of me is like a little more interested in the Kraken in the background. I see a fucking Kraken back there.
No, they did. So Star Ace, which kind of X Plus in the US. Yeah. They released a lot of the Harryhausen collection, and they've done the gigantic Kraken, right? But this was, they actually are doing a Kraken bust. So a full-on like huge Kraken bust. It was just a prototype. It wasn't painted, but it was great. But the big news from the Harryhausen group, talk about something. I rank this up there with like how many people for X Plus are clamoring to finally get a Mecha King Ghidorah. Like we were waiting for it, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been wanting to get a Medusa. And they released the Medusa at Superfest. So people are, for the Harryhausen fans out there, which all of us better be Harryhausen fans. Yeah. They just released that. So that was one of the big ones releasing at Superfest from the Star Ace line.
Everything in this picture looks great. Like, I mean, there's a Godzilla here, there's King Ghidorah. I see a Cyclops in the background too, a skeleton war. Like, yeah, dude, that all looks great.
Yeah. So, and then the other kind of big pieces, X Plus. They really, I don't know if I wouldn't say they stole the show, but they were kind of like, of all the companies that we talk about a lot, they probably had the most stuff to talk about. And I'm trying to pull up another one here. And there's one that you've seen a prototype of, but they did release the painted version of it. I'm going to try to pull that one up next here. Here he is. So this is the D4 the 67, the Rick. This is up. Now, this is already up for pre-order at a lot of the sites that we all know and love.
With or without Minya, which why would you buy this and not want the Minya?
Agreed. It's almost like that shouldn't have been even an option.
Exactly.
But this was kind of one of the first kind of views of it, fully painted, and they've released more official photos, and you'll see those, like I said, at any of those sites where it's up for pre-order. But a lot of people are digging it. 67 is like one of my least favorite designs, but a lot of people absolutely love it. There's that nostalgia value of a lot of people. I think Son of Godzilla has appreciated over time. I think a lot of people have more embraced it as a film, and therefore I think the suit gets a little bit more love than it used to. And they're excited about this. And I mean, who wouldn't with that little spud on the back?
So to me, it's all about Minya here, because it is also one of my least favorite suits, but I think that movie is very charming, and I really love Son of Godzilla, and he just looks, Minya in that D for real style, he's perfect. He's a perfect little babe, and I love it.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think it's going to be a big seller. I didn't pick this one up just because, as we've talked about on the show, I'm pretty picky on. I don't love the design.
Same. I'm trying to. Dude, we keep saying that. We both keep saying that, but they keep putting. I'm still going back and forth about whether or not I want that gigantic shit. I don't even know if he's still available at this point.
I think he is.
Last time I looked, I saw you could still get the gigantic Shin D for real, and some of these figures they're amazing. I mean, I'm looking at two of them right here, and I'm just like, oh, they're great.
I mean, in some parts, even more so than the large monster series, the gigantic series of 30 centimeter, like there's more like they have to do to make it a palatable look, because they have a suit designed to work off of, but then they have to make it into that for real form. And there's a little bit more artistic license necessary to make it good or bad. I think there's a bigger chance that it could be a huge flop Whereas with the 25 and 30, as long as it somewhat resembles the suit, I mean, yeah, there's going to be people nitpicking the little things, but it's going to look good because it's supposed to look like the suit, right?
Right.
And so in some ways, the Defo line, it's more challenging to me. And some of these, I do think this is a good one. I think the 67 Mini is great. The Crazy Eye 73 that came out, like I did get that one, but I think that one is the one that might not be the best, but it just was so weird looking that I decided to get that one. But there's hits and misses.
Yeah.
So the next one, the next one, once again, X Plus here, 3-pack here. Let me move this guy up a little bit so you can kind of see everything there. There you go. So 30 centimeter line, we get the Flyer, the flying version of Hedorah. This thing is going to be gigantic. It has to be like about a foot across, about 14 inches deep maybe. You're going to get the tadpole and you're going to get the crawler all in the or the tadpole in the Petri dish. You're going to get them all here in this pack from X Plus. So this will be in the favorite sculptors line, 30 centimeter. So this will be heavy. This will be really nice. So I'm kind of I'm excited about this. I'm probably not going to pick it up because I don't necessarily love these forms as much. It's a little, plain, but it's going to be.
You need that little tadpole, though.
That tadpole, it's going to be really cool. And it's, I don't know. I mean, for people that are Smongy fans and that's like their go-to, I mean, this will be a must-have. Yeah,
for sure. I agree. It's not like a pickup for myself, but I love anytime you get secondary forms of any of the kaiju, and the fact that you're getting 3 of them here.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one, we'll go back to Defo Real, and this one I'm actually curious your thoughts on, because I know how much you and everybody, including myself and everybody, loves the Heisei trilogy for Gamera. I wanted to show you a Defo Real. It's a prototype only, so it's not going to be painted here, but they did release or unveil a version of, and I'm trying to do a dramatic pause here, but I'm having trouble finding the image, as that's how it happens sometimes. Well, hold on. It has to be here somewhere. I just saw it. It's here. I know somewhere.
We know it's
I looked at those.
Will it be Iris? Will it be Legion?
Maybe.
Will it be Gauss? We'll find out.
Right now. It is Legion. So a lot of people, number 2 is their favorite. But so to see the prototype, it's hard to tell, like, does it come with additional faces? Does it come with soldiers? What does it come with? So I think there's more to understand here to be released, but we will be getting a Legion Defo Real. So kind of cool for those, because I think the Gamera Defo Reals are awesome. I think they've knocked it out of the park with those. So I think this will be a big pickup for all you Gamera fans. Yeah,
I love this. I think Legion and Iris are both pretty great designs as far as kaiju goes. So yeah, I mean, literally, to me, any sort of love for the Heisei Gamera trilogy, I'm into it. Not sure if it's something I'll pick up, but I'm glad that this exists, and I'm really excited to see what a final painted version of that is going to look like. Because I bet it's gonna be the kind of thing where I'm sitting here like, no, it's not going to be a pickup for me. And then you see it, and it's like, oh, maybe I'm gonna pick this up. Maybe it is.
So I'll run through these next ones. The final releases from Superfest I wanted to talk about were from Gigabrain. And now Gigabrain, they went with their 3 main sculpts, the 62, the 64, which you see here, and the 65. And they did release all of 3 of those in a blank glow-in-the-dark variant. So for all you customizers out there, for all you guys that want to add the glow-in-the-dark vinyl but might want to add a little extra touch to it, Gigabrain is giving you that opportunity, in a pretty cost-effective manner when it comes to Sofubi with their 62, their 64, as well as their 65. So like I said, I won't have to show all of them. You guys have seen them. You know what they look like. They're all like this.
Same
this
sculpts.
Is the 64. Yeah. So same sculpts that they always release. But that was the other kind of, I won't call it big news, but that was the other one out there. It's just, Gigabrain releasing, like I said, variants of the same few sculpts that they always do.
That's cool. Yeah. No, I like it.
Now, on to a couple other things. This one I absolutely will be picking up. It comes out in this month, and it is a joint partnership from the about to be released Shin Ultraman and everybody's favorite airlines, JAL, Japanese Airlines. And it is a badass, it's from X Plus, nonetheless. And I'm trying to, and it's 2 really awesome items. And I'm trying to find it because, here we go. Absolutely love this. It is a Japanese airline, a JAL colored variant. So white and red of Shin Ultraman. I'm in on this one. I'm getting
That's
this
so
one.
cool. Yeah.
It is very cool. My
Just
dad's a
airline-
I've flown JAL. I love it. We're getting to this one.
Airline exclusives alone is enough to
Yeah.
make me say, yeah, I'm buying it. Like the fact that that exists,
Oh yeah.
this is great.
Oh, but that's not all in this line. They did have one more thing that is part of the JAL X Plus partnership with Shin Ultraman. They also have this amazing Ultraman with the SSP logo in there.
Whoa.
Ice watch. Yes.
That
All in on this one as well.
that's for me. That's
Yes.
that's a Jacob item.
I mean, that is bad. It even has the Science Special Search Party, the SSP under the logo written out. Beautiful, beautiful, must buy. These were my favorite things. And speaking of Shin Ultraman, not JAL tied in Shin Ultraman, but just regular old Shin Ultraman, Toho is
Mhm.
partnering with them to release some merch. So they just came out today. So this is hot off the presses, and there's literally tons of items. But they did I did have a little screen grab of kind of a product family shot. Here we go. It's gonna be a lot of stuff here, but they are doing keychains and hats and jackets and pins and folders and everything that you can think of
Everything.
related to
Everything
it.
you
But
need. Bags.
Yeah,
Fanny
backpacks.
packs. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Amazing cups and thermoses and water bottles, tote bags, you name it. But there's a couple that were really cool. I love these pins. I don't know if I can zoom in on them here. The pins, like they're really
Yeah.
great. There's coins, little medals. But I do want to get this jacket. I did pull a shot of the jacket up here. I think this is really cool, man. I really want to grab this jacket. And after our disappointment over the Singular Point jacket, this one is a little bit more subtle, but I absolutely dig this one. I think this one's great. Look at that. It has the SSP logo on the cover there, and then you have it on the back. I think this is awesome. Comes with the hood.
Yeah,
Sign me
dude, this is
up.
good stuff, man. It's really getting me excited for Shin Ultraman. I'm
really
excited to see it. I feel like I doubt there's gonna be a good. When Shin Godzilla came out, it was in select theaters here, and I I'm sure you did as well. But like I got to see Shin Godzilla in a theater on a good big screen, private screening. I was the only one in the theater. I do not see Shin Ultraman getting that same kind of thing, which bums me out because I'd love to see that as soon as it's available. I want to see it. So
maybe a few markets, but and the last thing I have, not Ultraman related, but if somebody had to design a Sofubi item for me, this would be one of the ones they might go with, and I'm excited that this thing is coming to fruition. So from Marasan, a pop up. How about this blue glitter, the tricolor King Ghidorah from the original design and coloration of King Ghidorah before they went all gold. I have the X Plus. I want this because we know one thing. We know Marasan knows glitter, and this is amazing. It comes out May 21st at one of the Marasan pop-up Kaiju salon shops at the Sakusa Smile Bar. Super excited. When this comes available, I will be. It does not matter what this costs. This one will be part of the collection.
I was sitting here
pumped to see
thinking, what's
this.
the price on this thing?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? What
Who
we'll be
knows?
able to get it for?
Yep.
Yeah, but that one I had to bring up because it's
Too much.
very J.
It's beautiful. Hey,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
It is.
I
It's
love
great.
it.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. So that's it. So like I said, not a ton of groundbreaking news, but a lot of cool releases and some stuff that I would be surprised if it ends up on our shelves at some point.
Sure, yeah, there's some good stuff.
Or on our
there.
wrists. Or on our wrists.
Our
That
shelves, our wrists, our keys, whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it all. Good stuff there. But I'm more excited to get back into this mystery of War of the Gargantuas.
Who's that?
Yes, this is Dr. Stewart speaking.
We need your help. Sir, you've studied giant animals. You had one in captivity, didn't you?
Yes, that was 5 years ago. You know, he might have been a young species of a gargantua.
Attention! All aircraft are to turn away! An alert! An alert! This is Tokyo Tower! Don't land!
Headed northwest and has reached this point. We will move headquarters out to the field immediately.
Let him have it. Hey, look! Another one!
What's the matter?
The giant!
Get back to the car.
Send all defense units to the beaches.
Listen, I have not seen this movie since I was a child. Very similar to my instances with Frankenstein Conquers the World. Movies that I remember being on TV. I remember watching with my grandfather. Haven't seen it in a long time. I will tell you that War of the Gargantua was kind of like, you remember last week I was talking about when I was a kid, I didn't care as much about Frankenstein because I wanted a monster. I felt the same way about the Gargantuas. I was like, give me something with a tail, with weapons. I was like, that just looks like me, a big fat dude. That's big hairy fat dude. That's what I look like. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch a monster. So I'm watching this movie, and I'll say overall, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the first half better than I felt like it hit a point where it was like, all right, let's get through this. But I want to talk about that whole Gargantua Frankenstein thing again because now the version I watched, which I'm assuming is the one you watched, right?
Yes,
HBO.
We watched the same one. Yep.
They called them their names once, and it was over a radio. They call them by their names, and I'm like, okay, cool. They're gonna do their names. Never say it again. Never utter Gargantua. I don't think once, but say Frankenstein over and over and over. Yep. And then it's even to the point where I knew that this was loosely. I knew about the line about the hand. I knew that was a thing, and I knew that this was kind of loosely a sequel. But then you got what is her name? The actress who's in
Akumi Mizuno,
Akumi, yeah. So she's in it, but then I'm like, oh, but she's not playing the same character.
No,
but then they go into a thing where she's like, well, we made a Frankenstein, and I'm like, oh, she's talking about the Frankenstein. But then when they show it, I'm like, that's not Frankenstein. No. That's just a baby Gargantua. And then I'm like, okay, it's a different character. It's a different experiment. What is happening? But then I was like, right away, though, I'm all over the place like usual, but right away, here's the main link. The giant octopus they couldn't use at the end of Frankenstein Conquers the World is in the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, it's like where we ended the alternate scene, bam, comes right back in. Well, I have a theory. I have a theory that the Frankenstein that we saw in Frankenstein Conquers the World, he was defeated by the octopus and went underwater and was killed or whatever, or maybe maybe he was able to escape. Doesn't matter, and died of his wounds later on. But maybe his cells, the ones that regenerate the hand or whatever, somehow grew underwater and turned into the underwater Gargantua because he can. How does he breathe underwater? They never explain that. How is that supposed? So maybe there and somehow the rest of his body regenerated in the mountains and became the good Gargantua, good Frankenstein. But like, I feel that the link is the octopus. There's something there. I think he's the same one.
It's clearly the same octopus. It's like, it's the same octopus. They made it and we're like, well, we can't throw this thing out. We made it. Throw it in the next movie.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the underwater Gargantua, which makes no sense, the scene where the old man looks over the boat and it's like he's in the water, but that is an amazing shot. Yeah. And something that's always, this is just kind of diving into my own personal fears, but something that is terrifying to me is when you can see something under the water. That is scary to me. I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know what that is. But like when you can see that it's under the water, but you can still see it. Yeah. There's, to me, the scariest shot in Jaws, which I think is the greatest movie ever made. There is a shot in Jaws, which literally I've seen that movie more than I've seen any other movie. And there's one shot. Whenever he knocks over the swimmer in the estuary, he's in the boat. He knocks him over. There's an aerial shot. The guy's like, trying to get back on his boat. And the shark is swimming at him and grabs him, but the shark never breaks the surface. Mm-hmm. You see it under the water, grab him and pull him down. That, to me, I don't know what it is terrifying. Yeah. So even as stupid as it looked, when they showed that Gargantua and he's just like underwater staring up, I was like, whoa! I was like, hold on. Oh, yeah, 100%. It just took me by surprise.
No, 100%. And, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of beautiful shots in this. There's a lot of great stuff. It's one of the things that works in here. But I'm going to make a bold claim.
Okay.
And this will anger a lot of people, and they might leave us bad comments. But War of the Gargantuas is my least favorite Showa era kaiju film.
Okay.
Least favorite. Wow. And now I want to be clear. I'm not saying there's not really good stuff in it, because there is. And in fact, if I looked at my pros and cons and weighed them together and I weighted them all the same, there might be more good stuff than bad stuff. But for me personally, my enjoyment level of this film is like 0. Like it really is. I mean, I'm not saying I'm saying show era. It's better than Megaguirus. Let's be real. I mean, that's good. But if we just limit to like Toho, I'll say Toho Showa era, because once again, I don't really get into Gamera and stuff. But like the Toho era of anything, including your King Kong Escapes and Atragons and things of that, I think War of the Gargantuas, or I know, it's my least favorite film.
Are you telling me, Jay, that you get no enjoyment out of a complete 4-minute song number, a musical number for no fucking reason?
and like I said, they set up the perfect joke. The words get stuck in my throat and he doesn't even eat her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he almost does. Yeah.
I know, right? But to your point, though, I tie this back to the shot underwater, or above it, looking down underwater. I think there's an from a production element standpoint, like a lot of that stuff, the atmospheric lighting, the beautiful shots. I think the one where before Gyra goes and destroys the village, or excuse me, before he's destroying the village, before he goes and hides behind the trees and we get our first shot of the maser cannons. That's like, and it's like kind of a wide shot, and like you see him there, like with the trees. That's awesome. That's a beautiful shot. Like that is one of the better shots, in kaiju films of that era. And there's a lot of good stuff there. And there's also miniature work. The airport scene is great. There's so much good stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't outweigh the fact I just don't like this.
You just don't like it. Yeah. I was going to point out specifically that the airport looks amazing. And when they got to the airport, I was like, this is different than what you're usually seeing. I was like, this all looks really cool. But then I was disappointed that he just runs away from it. And he's like, it's silly watching him like he gets scared and like bolts for the water. And I'm like, what? It's so silly. But I was like, God, I wish they would have done more at the airport. Like pick those planes up or something. Like they look I thought the airport looked amazing, but it's underused.
I agree. And, you mentioned like him running away and stuff. And that's another thing. I have issues like this. Like, I don't know what to think on some of these things. Like I'll give them credit. Like I think the mask or the suit, especially the face of Gyra, the green with the bad one, is like horrifying. It's great. I think it fits him. I mean, I've heard him referred to as like almost like as like a boogeyman. I totally can see that. And he does all this crazy, like, I mean, he eats people. He does a lot of things that makes him. I mean, he's an evil person or an evil monster. That stuff I think is done beautifully. But like then I see him run away like a goofball,
right?
And it's done in such a silly manner. Like I want like the Benny Hill music to play or something, you know. But I'm like, whoa, it takes me out of it. I just think there's a lot of that with this film that like I never feel like it gets into a pocket and like I'm just like in it for this amazing movie, even though there are things that are done not even well, really well. And so I don't want to like when I say it's my least favorite, I don't want to denigrate or devalue some of the stuff that it might do better than any other film. Yeah. But it's just like that's like this guy's evil and creepy and gross and like I just look at him like that is a bad evil monster and he's eating people and then like he runs away like a goofball. I don't know. That's just kind of in a nutshell some of the things that like I don't know. I get
it, man. My bit like. I don't like the design of the Gargantuas at all. I don't like it. No, either of them. They're just like I don't know, man. They're boring looking to me. It's just not my thing. Like I love King Kong, right? Mm-hmm. But to me, King Kong is so iconic and so classic that it's like Godzilla. There's only one of those. It's like Godzilla. All the other kaiju need to be different. Yeah. So whenever I see stuff like Gargantuas, I'm like, well, I'd rather watch King Kong. You know, I want him to look different.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I can't. I don't get behind it. Like there are things is exactly like you said. I liked the first half of the movie, but then it just reaches a point where there's a Maser cannon scene that I feel like is 30 minutes long. I was just like,
what's the debut of the Maser cannon? They did give us
but I'm like, come on. I'm like, I don't care that it's the debut of the Maser. It's a fucking Maser cannon. It just took forever. I got so bored watching that area. I was like, can they fight or something?
Yeah. No, I get it. And I think and kind of staying on in that same realm, like the Sonda, the brown Gargantua, the good one, like I don't like the facial design there, whatever, but like he's fighting the main evil in this and is going to be the savior and the hero and whatever fights the evil one. They don't do enough for us to have any sort of sympathy or even root for him. Like we know nothing about him. We get like a 2-second shot of him as a kid growing up there, like,
as a baby or whatever.
Exactly. So like I feel like that was
being a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I just feel like it's another monster. Like, and he might be nicer and catches whatever Kumi Mizuno's character is in this one. And so like I said, I feel there's a miss there, and it also once again devalues the main scene, which the ending is kind of the same as Frankenstein Conquers the World. It's like they both plummet to their deaths,
fall away.
Yeah. So I just feel like that, and then of course maybe around all of that, the just kind of like I don't know, it just disjointed nature, kind of the boring nature. I think the other two pieces that really struggle with me, one might be a me problem, but the other one I think is a big problem. The one is like. The big problem is like Russ Tamblyn is no Nick Adams, man. He just totally mails it in. And I know there's lots of stories about what happened, how the Honda and his crew just could not stand him. Tamblyn ad-libbed all of his lines. All that stuff is like out there in the public domain.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like as a viewer, I don't care about that. He just looks like he's like half-assing it out there. Like there's nothing there. You can say what you will about Nick Adams, but he was giving it his all. And so I think that was a big downgrade. And the one that really bugs me is the scenes like this is a kaiju film. This is supposed to be big, right? Like I want the stakes to be big, but and these people could destroy Japan. And you have this big kaiju fight at the end. And I think like how a lot of the most terrifying scenes are him like eating a single person, going after one person. Yeah. I feel it almost makes it like a smaller scale horror movie than maybe like a kaiju film. And like, I think it takes the stakes down a little bit because it's like one of those things like
smaller scale.
Yeah. You never see like when you, like, Godzilla eating one person, right? Like you might see him destroying a building that will fall on a person or whatever, or stepping on somebody accidentally, but like it's not like they're pointing out, and you see it multiple times with the lady that he does eat, and then he of course eats all the hikers and stuff in the final scene, and then of course when he goes after our wonderful songstress, and so I feel like that once again it just adds this element of like, I don't know, it doesn't have enough entertainment value and kind of fun just kaiju action and other things to offset some of this kind of like disjointed nature of it, and because of that I'm just sitting there like, I don't like this movie. So.
Hey, I agree with all that. There's one scene where one of the suits just catches on fire, and I was like, this just got interesting. He's on fire. He's literally just
keep rolling.
burning. Yeah, and they keep cutting back to it, and I was like, okay, he's on fire. Yeah, dude. I'm trying to think of even. Oh, another thing that I thought about that could possibly be a connection, but I'd have to maybe go into IMDb, is I think it's the same actor playing like the general in this movie. And I think he's also, because when he popped up, I was like, oh, I recognize him. I was like, he's in other Godzilla films. I noticed him. So I went and looked him up. I'm like, oh, is he also the general in Frankenstein Conquers the World? But he's like nameless. It's like general. And then I couldn't, I'd have to go back and see what his name was in the other film.
I'm having a hard time even picturing.
You'd recognize him as soon as you
face of the general in that film.
Well, by the time I got to this, I was like, oh, was he in Frankenstein? I just watched that like 2 weeks ago.
Oh no, yeah. Okay, yeah. It's Jun Tazaki. Yeah, no. He was. I don't think he was in Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Is he not?
Oh, he was. He was a military advisor in Frankenstein.
Well, see, that's what it was. Like, I was like, I didn't. Maybe he's only in that for a second, or maybe because I did not remember seeing. Because I recognized him immediately. I was like, I know this guy.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, he's
Sea Monster, Destroy All Monsters, Dog. I mean, he's in all of them. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, oh, and when I looked at him, I was like, is he in? I don't remember him in Frankenstein, but he's a military advisor in that. He's a general in this. I'm like. Maybe that was supposed to be a through line. Maybe he was supposed to be playing the same character that, I don't know, got, promoters. I don't know. But, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, but I totally forgot. I mean, I like I said, I just watched the movie. I couldn't even picture him.
I mean, if they just would have made Kumi the same character, that's all the work they would have had to. That's all the work they would have to do. She works for. She's a scientist. That's it. 100%. Just give her the same name.
Yeah, I mean. Everything was the same other than the name. I mean, it's kind of like what they did with Hiroshi Koizumi between Mothra or Mothra versus Godzilla and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. He's a doctor. His name's almost the exact same, but they just make him different. And like it's just different because anyway. But I mean, it sounds like I'm bagging on it a lot, and I'm allowed to because I said this is my least favorite one. But like, I just want to reiterate, like, there's a lot of good stuff in here. When people do like this, I get it. Like, I mean, it gave us not only maser cannons, but as you know, as legend goes, not legend, there's footage of him saying it. It gave us Brad Pitt too, because this was the film that he claims got him into wanting to be an actor. So it gave us Brad Pitt and
weird.
It's so weird. Brad Pitt and maser cannons.
I remember seeing a film called The Gargantuas, I believe. And it was the good Gargantua and the bad Gargantua. At the end of it, the good Gargantua had to sacrifice himself to defeat the bad Gargantua and rid the world of evil.
It's so weird. It's worth watching, I think, for sure. And I think especially this paired with Frankenstein Conquers the World is kind of a... Even though I'm talking about how I don't love this movie, I feel like the pair of them make kind of a fun double feature. This would be a fun, like, drive-in 100%. Double feature. Yeah.
And confusing, because you're like, whoa.
Super confusing.
Is this a really bad sequel? Did they mess that
Where's
up?
Baragon? I still think about the scene in Frankenstein Conquers the World where at one point, one of the characters is like, oh yeah, there's another monster now. And they're just like, oh, okay. It's like, all right. Oh yeah, there's two of them. It's like,
I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, there's like, whatever. I mean, it's whatever works, man. But they do trade out the eating dogs and farm animals to eating people in this one. So that's the one,
which is better. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is weird. Like one of the first bad guys bad kaiju we get that has like eats multiple humans directly. It's like it's kind of a human looking, character, not like a dragon or a prehistoric dinosaur that's been irradiated or anything.
There's some King Kong Lives vibes happening in this movie. And I know this was before King Kong Lives, but it's like, it's just scenes of him out in the wilderness, eating things.
It's a year before it, right? I mean,
is it only a year? What this came out? I don't know what year. Did
Frankenstein was 65? I think it came out the next year, right? I think. I could be wrong.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, they're all in that same, realm, like time period. But yeah, maybe not as not as silly, but as King Kong.
The kaiju looked bad in all of them. Out of Baragon's the best looking in these two films. I think Baragon's the best looking.
The octopus.
The octopus is great. I've never gotten over the Frankenstein. It's so weird to me that they make a big deal out of saying Frankenstein's Caucasian when he's clearly not. I feel like they could have just done a few more things to make Frankenstein a little more Frankenstein looking.
Yeah,
but I still like Frankenstein. I still like him over the Gargantuan. I don't know. There's something about. Yeah, I'm just like, well, all right, it's like a Bigfoot. I don't care.
You know what? It is. But you know what also kind of bugged me about it? I mean, the two designs, not the face. Like I said, I love the face of Gyra. I don't of Sonda, but the singular colors. Like it almost reminds me of something like they would do in Star Trek, the original series. Like I think of like you're this color singularly and you're this color. Like I wish there would have been some more similarities, and maybe just the face is the only thing different, or they would have. They could have another distinguishing feature that would make them different. Like that's the one with 3 eyes and that's the one with 2 eyes or something. That's the one with the horn and without the horn. I didn't like the fact that it's like, that one's just all green and that one's all brown. I get it. Like he lives in the ocean, whatever. It's like, I don't know.
I think it would have been a more interesting film if they look the same. It makes more sense for them to just look the same. Well, if they look the same and it's like, just people don't know there's two of them for a bit. So you got one creature who's like causing a havoc and killing people and eating people, but then the creature shows up again and maybe it saves a boat of people or something. And people are confused. And they're like, well, why is it acting this way here and acting this way here? And then they're like, oh fuck, there's two of them. Like they come across them fighting or something. And they're like, oh, there's two of them.
And then they can say there's a second monster. But I honestly, I was thinking when you mentioned that, I was thinking of on the original Ultraman, I was thinking of the episode, what's it? The one with the alien Zareb, brother from another planet. We have the evil Ultraman, and it looks totally different. Like he has like evil eyes and everything. And they think it's the real Ultraman. It's like they wouldn't get these. They can be totally different colors. They can still get them confused.
That's so funny.
Maybe he's a chameleon. But no, I just feel that like there's just I don't know. We talked about it before. Like there's sometimes when a movie's bad elements are charming and there's sometimes when it's annoying. And this is one that all the stuff that doesn't work to me, it overshadows what does work. And I know this movie is held dearly by a lot of people.
Some people love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see people going crazy. I see people going crazy trying to find like some of the figures, the X Plus figures are like super sought after. And it's like, why? I'd rather watch Congo. If I'm gonna watch a movie with a killer ape, it's gonna be Congo.
Yeah,
watch that instead.
Or Mighty Joe Young. I guess he wasn't that killer. No,
but that movie's good too. Or any movie with King Kong in it. Literally any movie with King Kong in it.
Even King Kong Lives. Even King Kong Lives.
I like King Kong Lives.
What was the one? That was still one of my favorite episodes where we both watched it separately and recorded without talking to each other. Yeah. And we basically agreed on everything except for the transplant scene, which I loved and you hated, with the big giant scalpels and everything. But the best part was that we both opened up with there's a scene where it's the perspective of a frog. But yes, I would probably watch King Kong Lives over War of the Gargantuas. I've always
found there's something about King Kong Lives that is so silly to me that there's a baby Kong that maybe the timing of whose child that is might not make sense. There's just something.
It was a Gargantua's kid. It was
it's Frankenstein's. I've always liked, even though I can admit that movie is terrible, but I like it. This movie, I don't think I'd call it terrible. but it's just not great.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I don't think, if it's terrible, I mean, it fails on lots of elements, and I don't think World of Gargantuas does.
I would watch this again.
Yeah, I just think for me, it's like when it boils down to it at the end of the day, and we can talk about acting performances and lighting, and we can talk about miniature work and historical impact and everything, but when we sit down and watch it for that 90 minutes, if I come out of it saying, I wasn't entertained as much as all the other movies that I've watched over the last 10 years, then that's probably not a good sign. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters is were you entertained or moved, or did it accomplish what it was supposed to do and make you feel that way? And this one, obviously, entertainment and stuff. And it didn't. That's kind of like the ultimate factor for me is like it has good stuff, it has bad stuff. But at the end of the day, the bad stuff made it not entertaining. And so, it is what it is.
It's weird watching both of these movies. I had not seen since I was much younger, a child, you would say. And it is weird going back and rewatching them with that much time in between them, because even though I haven't seen either one since I was a kid, like they're still present in my life as far as like you see, when you're in the kaiju world or websites or whatever, you see about so it feels like it's fresher in my head than it is. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh, this is so different than how I thought I remembered it. Or, you know what I mean? It's like you go into War of the Gargantuas and I'm like, cool, I'm going to watch these monsters fight and it's going to be cool and fun. And it's like, oh, they barely fight.
Oh, yeah. And one has like a broken leg. Like limping around. I mean, I'll give there was one part I was chuckling, like when he comes back, when Sonda comes back and when he finally realizes how evil his brother is and is going to fight him, and he's sitting there and just all the clothes from all he's like sitting there like, I just ate. And you see all like the clothes from all the hikers and stuff in there. I'm like,
well, he saves him at one point. Yeah. He helps him out whenever the army, closer to the earlier in the film, he helps him out.
But once again, it gave us Mazer Cannons and Brad Pitt, so it has to have some merit, right?
Sure. We got Inglorious Bastards, which is a masterpiece.
One of the best.
Only because of the War of the Gargantuas. And on that, I don't know if there's anything else I can say about it.
No, that's pretty much that's it. I mean, we've justified and validated the existence of this film, which has major flaws, because it gave us one of the best of all time. Yeah. Definitely one of the best opening scenes of all time.
I agree.
Yeah. So, hey, maybe the next time we're talking, we will go away from the human-esque kaiju and get back into some giant lizards.
I want to do something fun next time, Jay. I want to watch a movie I like.
Well, we got to do our Star Wars kaiju. We got to do some yokai. We got to do some.
We got some stuff. We got some stuff coming down. Yep, it's happening.
Starfish Hitler.
We're doing Starfish Hitler. Jay, you got anything else?
No, man. I just it was good back talking to you again, and then for those that don't know, for those that don't listen to the end of our episodes, we should probably do this at the beginning. Yeah, we should definitely do it at the beginning. Yeah, but we do have shirts you can get at the Yes Have Some Below the Collar page. We have a wonderful Twitter page now. Thank you, Mr. Walsh. And
we have a very wonderful inactive Twitter page. I'm sorry, but it's there.
But it's okay. It's okay. And then, of course, if you have a few bucks, if you want some amazing content from the Yes Have Some family, whether that's Toy Anxiety, whether that's the Ghostbusters Containment Unit, whether that's Yes Have Some podcast, YHS on Monster Island, who knows what'll be pop up tomorrow. Go sign up for Patreon and get all this amazing extra content, between watch-alongs and Zoom hangs and extra Toy Anxieties
commentaries.
There's commentaries.
So
the
it's
Ghostbusters
unfair.
Afterlife commentary. It is ridiculously awesome. Hey, here's the other thing. The access to the Discord channel is amazing because you guys have a place to buy and sell toys there between all these amazing Patreon members within the YHS community. Guys, go join at patreon.com/Yes Have Some. I think it is. There's a YHS podcast.
It's one of those two will bring you there. You'll find it. I appreciate that, Jay. Yeah, go check that stuff out. It's all fun. We do a lot. It's seriously like we've done research to see like what other people do on their Patreons. We do way more than we should. Like, there's a lot of stuff. We do way more than a lot of Patreons do, and we do it because it's fun and we like doing it. But you should go check it out. I mean, there is a backlog of over 100 Patreon exclusive YHS episodes. There is now, new toy anxiety stuff. That's only we did our first one last night. We finished Toy Anxiety. There's a separate feed only for Patreon members. It gets a little loose. Ryan's let off his leash a little bit, and it was fun, dude. So, yeah, I appreciate that, Jay.
Awesome.
Go check it out.
Yeah, and that's it. I just like to talk about it because it's so awesome, and I'm a big fan of it, personally.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. Listen, I love Jay. I love you so much. I'm happy that you were brought into the YHS world. Guys, thank you for listening. We're going to be back in possibly a different way next episode, but we will be here in 2 weeks, and we will see you.
We'll get you that content. Get you that content.
Bye, guys.